Hi again and welcome back. In this video, we'll be learning some new Greek vocabulary having to do with investigating and knowing. If we're thinking about discovery and reporting of discoveries, one important word is heidetesis. This means a search or investigation, but it can also mean a debate or argument. I suppose since investigation or searching as a group together usually involves debate or argument. This is a third declension noun, of course, and it follows the polis type endings, as does heiuresis. This means discovery, and heideixis, which means demonstration or proof. This is, again, a third declension noun of the polis type, which is derived from deiknumi, which is a me verb, muiota conjugation verb, meaning I point out or I display. Heiakoe, on the other hand, is a rumor or a report. Noeo means I think, and there are several Greek words that are derived from this verb. It's closely related to the noun hanous, or mind. This is a third declension noun that's not really regular according to any of the patterns that we've seen so far. The stem is na, and it's fairly regular if you keep that stem in mind, except that the accusative is noon. It uses a nu to form the accusative, as does polis. Heienoia is the thought or act of thinking, and heidianoia is also another word for thought. It can mean the faculty of thought, the ability to think, and it can also mean a plan. Dokeo is a slightly different word for thinking. Its primary sense is to appear or I seem. And secondarily, it can mean I think. If we add the u prefix, which means good or well, it means I approve of, or I plan, or intend. Really, it means I think something good. And the related noun is heieudokia, approval. Ginosko is the primary verb meaning I know, and the derived nouns here are heignosis, knowledge, which is another third declension polis type noun, and there's also an adverb, gnoston, which means evidently or clearly. This is actually formed from the adjective gnostos, gnoste, gnoston, which means clear or evident or known. A similar verb is gnorizo. This is not just to know, but to make something known, or to inform someone of something. And if we add the preposition epi on the beginning, we get epignosko. This also means I know, but sometimes has a slightly stronger emphasis, knowing certainly or being strongly convinced of something. And the derived noun here is heiepignosis, knowledge. Finally, oida means I know, and this is a very common verb in the New Testament, but it's got some funny forms because it's actually a perfect tense, and we haven't learned the perfect tense yet, but just take my word for it that that's what this is. It's not actually a present tense, but it's treated like a present tense verb. But it takes perfect tense endings, and these endings look much like the first aorist because they use an alpha connecting vowel. So if oid is the stem here, the first person singular will be oida, I know. The second person singular, oidas, you know. The third person singular, oide, or oiden, with that movable nu on the end. The first person plural is oidamen, the second person plural oidata, and the only difference from first aorist endings here is in the third person plural, because instead of a nu, we have a C ending, just like the NC of the present tense. And so the third person plural form of oida is oidasi, or oidasin. Remember that even though these endings look like they're first aorists, oida is a present tense for all intents and purposes. It's actually a perfect tense, but we treat it, we translate it as if it were a present tense. And it's actually one of the most common ways of saying, I know. And again, probably because it's so common, it becomes irregular.